Iowa Clover Power Cooking School is now in session. Get ready to learn how to prepare another nutritious snack recipe with some simple ingredients along with your Iowa State University Cooking School friends, showing you how to make cooking fun and healthy.
Welcome to the Clover Power Cooking School. My name is Grace.
And my name is Liz. We are both seniors studying dietetics at Iowa State University, and today we're going to make a snack recipe from the Spend Smart, Eat Smart website called Tzatziki dip. Tzatziki dip is a Greek-style sauce that you can be used on wraps, sandwiches, and can be used as a dip for vegetables. Today we're going to be using baked pita chips as our dip.
First thing you want to do before starting any recipe is make sure to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds with warm soapy water. Make sure to get in between your fingers and under your fingernails. If you haven't done so yet, you can pause the video and begin washing your hands.
Once our hands are washed, we can get our ingredients ready. We already have ours set out for us, so we're just going to walk through that now. We're going to have 1 cucumber.
You're going to need some olive oil, some salt, dill, garlic, and Greek yogurt. For supplies, you're going to need a large mixing bowl, a spoon, a spatula, a grater, tablespoons and teaspoons for measuring.
And then we're going to use a chef's knife, a cutting board, and underneath our cutting board we have a damp towel that you can place underneath to hold it still while you're cutting.
First thing you'll have to do is make sure to wash your cucumber. Ours has already been washed, so make sure to do that before you start. And then Liz is going to demonstrate how to cut the cucumber and seed it out.
So I'm going to take my knife. One thing to note when using a knife is you're always going to want your blade facing the surface, and you're going to want to cut away from your body whenever possible. First, I'm going to cut my cucumber by holding one of the ends with my left hand, which is my non-dominant hand, and I'm going to cut down the center, cutting away from my body. Now I'm going to take 1/2 of the cucumber, hold the far end to keep my fingers away from the blade, and cut a flat surface on this end. This I don't need, so I'm going to place it in my garbage bowl. Now I'm going to put my cucumber vertical, and using the claw method, I don't want my fingers near the blade, so I'm going to curl them away and cut straight down, just like that. Now I have 2 halves, and I'm going to set that aside for when I need to seed them, and I'm going to do the same thing with this half. Now I have 4 sections of my cucumber, and I'm going to take a spoon, hold the bottom side with my hand, and just scoop out these seeds. And I already have my garbage bowl set aside here, so I can just scoop those right in, because we're not going to be using that in our dip today. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my other 3 sections. Now that we have our cucumber in their sections, I'm going to take a grater and a bowl, and I'm going to create a flat surface by holding my left hand here on the handle so it doesn't wobble. And we're going to be using the large grating section. We did use the smaller part, and this is going to happen in your kitchen too. If something doesn't work, you might have to just change it up. So I'm going to take my cucumber, and I'm going to cut or motion away from myself, similar to how we did with the knife. And I'm just gonna hold my cucumber against the grater and do this repetitively until we get to the end. And hold it however it feels comfortable, but make sure you're keeping your fingers away from the blade, similar to the knife. When you start to get towards the end, it's gonna feel kind of scary, so we're gonna still use the claw method and go like this, but you don't have to use the whole skin in this recipe. So we're just going to toss it off when it becomes unsafe against the grater blades. Now I'm finished, and you can see all of our sections are in the bowl, all shredded up from the grater, and I'm just going to wipe the grater clean. Now I have my cucumber laid out on some paper towels, and I'm going to take more paper towels and press down to get all of the moisture out of it, just like this. You can always get more if your paper towels are getting really wet.
Okay, so the next thing we're gonna wanna do is combine all of our other ingredients. I'm gonna start off with our non-fat plain Greek yogurt. You're gonna want two 6-ounce containers of those. So I'm just gonna put that into the bowl with a spatula. Try to get out as much as you can. We want our dip to be nice and creamy. All right. Then next ingredient is going to be garlic. We're using minced garlic today, but you could always use fresh and grate it yourself or mince it yourself. We're gonna do 1 teaspoon. Throw that into the bowl. Next ingredient is going to be some dry dill. And we're gonna be using 1 teaspoon of that into our recipe. You can go ahead and throw that into the bowl. Next is going to be a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And lastly, we're going to be adding our olive oil, and we're going to need 1 tablespoon. And then you can begin to mix all of these ingredients together, and then we'll add the cucumber.
Now that our recipe is done, Grace is going to add our cucumber to the dip that she just created. Something that we're going to dip in our tzatziki today is pita chips. Other things that you can use are vegetables like carrots, celery, cauliflower, and in our recipe there's actually 2 things that contain allergens that you may have students in your classrooms that have. So if there is a dairy allergy, instead of using the Greek yogurt, you could use a plant-based Greek yogurt. And if there is a gluten allergy or intolerance, instead of using the pita chips, we also have corn tortilla chips that don't contain wheat, or you can use some of the vegetables that I mentioned earlier. One thing we wanted to ask the class is there anything else that you think that you have at home that you could use in our dip? Our recipe is high in calcium. Calcium is a mineral that strengthens our bones and teeth, especially at your ages. Calcium in this recipe is mainly found in the Greek yogurt. Can anyone think of additional foods that would be high in calcium? I'll give you a hint. Think dairy. If you guessed milk or cheese, you'd be correct. Other foods that also contain calcium are spinach, almonds, and oranges. What's some of your favorite foods to eat that are high in calcium? You can pause the video now to have a group discussion.
We hoped you enjoyed making this snack with us today and hope you enjoy tasting it too. Join us again for another Clover Power Cooking School.